Hey guys, if you've ever thought of enhancing your home and garden and landscape with outdoor lighting, then watch this free consultation video. This is the same free consultation video that we offer to all our clients who are looking for help with their DIY landscape lighting projects. We're going to show you what are the best lights to use and the best locations to get the best bang for your buck, as well as how to create the best effect possible with those lights. So to get your free consultation video, email me your pictures at cal@lightingdoctor.ca or go and visit us at lightingdoctor.ca, and be sure to check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, where you can actually get one premium grade fixture, and the King Innovation Insta-Light is a battery operated pack that allows you to go and test the lights out on your property before you make any big purchases. So hopefully you get some great ideas from this video, and again, to get your own free consultation video, email me your pictures at cal@lightingdoctor.ca or go visit us at lightingdoctor.ca and check out our Try It Before You Buy It light and see what's going to look great around your property. Enjoy the video, and I'll see you again after.
Hey John, some great pictures that give me a really good idea. So I'll give you some ideas of how I would light it and show you what kind of lights I would probably use. So yeah, what I would do when you plant this tree here is I would just start. I know it's going to get to be a big tree, but I would just start with one up and accent light, because you can put it in the mulch and you don't have to put it in the lawn. I would stick with an accent light as opposed to an in-ground light. If you didn't have a mulch area, you would definitely want to use an in-ground light. That way you don't have to maintain around it. You can just mow over it. But using just a regular up and accent light will save you some money, and you'll be able to keep that in a low maintenance area. So I would start with one, but just make sure when you put that light, leave lots of extra wire, because eventually as that tree gets bigger, what you're going to want to do is add probably a couple lights around it to surround it, especially if it's going to get to 70 feet tall. So just leave some excess wire so that down the road you can do that. Next, if I was to look at, same thing, if you're putting a large tree over here, you'll have to run the wire around the back of the house. But I think putting, again, same thing, if you can get some mulch around that, which most trees you're going to have some kind of mulch area around it so that you're not having to maintain around it, I would get a nice accent light on that from the street side, so that, as you're pulling up in the driveway or looking at it when you walk by the sidewalk, that's what you see is just an accent light, 12 to 18 inches from the base that lights up the trunk and then the foliage of that new tree. And I'm a big fan of lighting the house up, especially when you have beautiful stonework like this. And I know it's not something that we've maybe talked about yet, but what I would probably do in this area is I would actually try and get some accent lights, just some uplights at the base of the house here, by the doorway, in these two areas, down here and down here. Again, same thing, about 12 to 18 inches away from the base of the house, and have it shine up and really feature the stonework in the entranceway. I think that would look phenomenal. And you could also do something on the side of the house, but I'm going to make another recommendation that I think would work better because you have some beautiful trees. As for this big beautiful tree, there's so many ways you can light this. One area or one way would just be to get, maybe I would say probably 3 lights minimum on a tree of this size, because you're going to want to see it from different angles. You're going to want to see it from the house, so you might want an accent light over here shooting up, one over here shooting up, and one over here shooting up. Another way that you could do this is if you wanted to maybe just have an accent light that really shines up the base of the trunk, so you can highlight that, and then consider doing some hanging lights up in these branches, and that might eliminate you having to do some path lights here, because now you'd have a hanging light or two that would shine down, and they would basically do the same thing as a path light to light up the pathway, but you wouldn't have to see the lights at all. And same thing here, you could kind of light up these beds just by having some hanging lights up there. For a tree of this size and as beautiful as this tree is, that is probably the way I would do this if I was installing it, is I would try and get an accent light to really focus on the beautiful trunk here, and then 2 to 4 hanging lights to get some light shining through those branches. It creates some really nice shadowing effect down on the ground. You would totally hide that light. You'd probably even be able to eliminate some path lighting. It is a little bit more work to get them up in the tree, but the results would be phenomenal. So that's probably the way I would do it there. But if not, then yes, you can definitely use some path lights along this. And just from experience, I think staggering them is probably the best way to do it. And I would probably stagger one here, one over here, and one over here. And I wouldn't have more than 3 lights on there. They spread anywhere from 10 to 15 feet, depending on how bright you want it. So that would probably be plenty. So hopefully that gives you some good ideas. Let me know your feedback on those thoughts. I will send you a pre-designed kit that has all the tools, all the accessories, all the lights that I mentioned in it, and then we can kind of tweak it as we need to. All right, thanks, John.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching that video. I hope you guys got some great ideas for your own do-it-yourself landscape lighting projects. If you want your own free consultation video, like I said before, email me your pictures at cal@lightingdoctor.ca or go and visit us at lightingdoctor.ca, and be sure to check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, again, where you can get 1 premium grade fixture and a King Innovation Instalight battery operated demo kit that you can go and test those lights out on your property before you make any big purchases. So I hope to see you guys again soon, and again, go get your free consultations by emailing your pictures or visit us at lightingdoctor.ca.
Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here, going to shoot this really quick video how to easily install low voltage landscape lighting. So the first step is to start with our lights. I strongly recommend going with LED, and what we do to help keep the cost down is we buy good quality halogen fixtures and simply replace them with drop-in LED bulbs. And if you have a existing landscape lighting system, you can do this with most of your halogen systems too. It's as easy as popping the top and replacing your halogen bulbs with LED. And the same with our path lights. Find a simple bi-pin T3 LED light and replacing the existing halogen bulb with an LED will give you 30,000 plus hours of life out of that light. So highly recommend you go with LED. Once we've got our light selected, it's as easy as digging a small hole to place our light, and I like to use a rubber mallet to help pound in that ground stake and get it nice and stable so that I can easily screw my light in and make sure everything's level and get everything nice and secure. And then lastly, I lay out my wire, and I always like to leave a little loop at every fixture in case we need to move anything down the road. Next step is wiring our connections. We recommend 2 types of wire connectors. The first is a snap lock waterproof connector, is gelled filled and keeps the wires from pulling apart. And the second is a DBRY connection, which comes in 2 parts. One has a simple moret that keeps the wires together, and the second part of that is just a gel filled tube that gives it its watertight properties. You simply push the moret all the way into the tip of the gel filled tube and then snap it down tight on the wires. It gives it water seal and keeps them from pulling apart. Next, selecting your transformer. Usually recommend finding something with a photocell that has a small timer on it and easily plug into any GFCI receptacle. In this case, we have an on-off function as well as auto that's going to run with nighttime and daylight. Most transformers will have 2 taps on them, one for a common wire and one 12-volt tap. So securely fasten your wires into that and then mount your transformer. I generally recommend trying to mount it on a 4x4 stake or 4x6 stake, something that's easy to mount and easy to move. Take your plug and plug it into your GFCI receptacle, turn it on, and go around and just make sure all your lights work. Before you bury anything, I would strongly recommend making sure your lights work. Burying the wire is simple. In the grass, just create a small trench that you can easily push the wire down anywhere from 6 to 8 inches deep, and then easily just press that trench tight, and within a couple days you won't even know you were there. And if you're in the mulch, simply just pull the mulch back, dig a small trench, lay the wire down and bury it, and you're set to go. So hopefully that helped you quickly learn how to install low voltage landscape lighting. Please email us or follow us if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Just want to explain a little bit about the transformer. So basically the brains of your system. After you've placed your lights and you know what kind of lights you're going to use, the next step is determining what size transformer you're going to use. So a real simple way to do this, and if you're using a good quality light, when you buy it, it'll usually tell you how many watts that fixture is actually going to produce. If not, it'll usually tell you, if you actually look on the bulb, it'll tell you if it's 4.5 watts, 5.5 watts. Typically for LED, that's about as big as you're going to get, but on the box it should say how many watts if you're buying a good quality fixture. So, you know, on this project we've got 10 lights. Each of these lights uses approximately 4.5 watts. So 10 times 4.5 is 45 watts. So we want to size our transformer just slightly bigger than that. The better quality light that you have, the less you got to oversize your transformer. If you're using a really cheap light or a low quality light, you probably want to give yourself a little bit more room, because the light's going to actually use more power than that might actually say. With a good quality fixture, you're pretty safe if you just oversize it a little bit. So we're going to use a 60 watt transformer here from Kichler, which is really simple to use. It's got a small timer on it as well as a photo cell, and you can see we basically just mounted it to the side of the house here with a couple screws. And once we get all our wire laid out, we're going to wire those into here. And then something we've done to kind of take it to the next level and make this Wi-Fi is we've added something called it's from Weon. It's a outdoor Wi-Fi timer switch that we use with a lot of our transformers, as well as you can use it with Christmas lights or whatever. And how we use this is basically we just plug this into our GFCI receptacle, and then we plug our transformer directly into that. And then from there, now we can run all our lights from a simple mobile app from Weon. And we do this a lot of the time. It just gives us that flexibility, and it's a cool way to add Wi-Fi to your system.